How's it going, guys? Welcome back, my boys. I hope you guys are excited for this one because, boys, guess what? The Yorick rework has finally hit PBE. You've probably already seen it. I'm going to bring you up to speed with it as much as I can and give you a little bit of background information. If you don't know me already, I'm Ninetales. I'm a jungle Yorick OTP that plays on Korea. We hit about 500 LP Master, and I'm going to give you as much Yorick content for this season as I can. But stay tuned for that. For the moment, let's have a chat about the rework. So just a bit of background info. Me and a couple other Yorick mains were reached out to by Riot to give some feedback on the Yorick rework. We weren't asked for suggestions in terms of what they should do. They just wanted to know what we thought of their proposed changes. And that encompasses pretty much all the changes you're going to see today. Now, the goal of the rework was to pretty much give him an early game and without gutting his late game too much. But they wanted to give him a way for you to not just hate yourself, either playing through laning phase or being invaded in the jungle. In general, I think it's a positive rework. I think a lot of the changes are really good, and we're going to go over quite a few of them. But there are some shortcomings, and we'll go through that at the end of the video. Just for this video, I'm not going to cover jungle clears because I'm still in the process of working them all out. And when I know them, I'll post a video about them straight away. So without further ado, hit that like button, hit that sub button, and let's just get started. So we'll start with Yorick's passive. So you can see Yorick's passives right here. It says, every single time an enemy dies near Yorick, it will drop his counter down. And after the counter hits 0, the next unit that dies near Yorick will leave a grave guaranteed. So you can see there's 3 units right here that are about to die. My counter is at 3. So once all 3 of these units are died, it will leave a guaranteed grave. So it's been changed instead to being from 12, 6, and 2 to being 8 at level 1. And then every 2 levels, it goes down by 1. So at level 3, it'll be every 7 minions that die near Yorick. Now, this is a huge change. You didn't get to use your passive at all in lane Yorick until the 3rd wave. And remember, if I Q a minion, it doesn't drop the counter down. It won't consume the counter. So if you Q 4 minions in the first 3 waves, you still have to kill an extra 4 minions. So it could be even the 4th minion wave by the time you get to use your passive. So this is a very welcome change. I'm very happy about it. A lot of people underestimate Yorick's passive. It is very, very strong, but it's mainly strong once you hit around about the level 13 mark because you don't need Maiden to get ghouls anymore. Because there's 6 minions per wave and the counter's at 2, it means you can just clear the whole wave. You don't need to queue a single one and you will get 3 graves guaranteed from every single minion wave. So we'll have a chat about Mistwalkers because Mistwalkers got quite a few changes in this coming patch. You can see right here, Mistwalkers now have a bonus HP scaling instead, so their health is all around reduced, and they actually have a damage reduction as well. So they deal less damage overall, and they're less tanky overall. To compensate that, what Riot's done is they've made it so that Mistwalkers take 40% damage from lane minions, so that pretty much give them the exact same effective health that they had before. They take reduced damage from area effect abilities still, so that's still in the game. And the longer the game goes, the better it gets. As you can see, it's 66% damage to 40%. But the main event is that Mistwalkers take 200% damage from melee physical attacks, but they don't take reduced damage from ranged attacks. And that is the big kicker here, because if you're versing a Camille top, she's still probably going to deal quite a lot of damage to your Mistwalkers. If you're far enough ahead, she might need to 2-hit them, which is really, really key. But if you send your E on the enemy support or your E on the enemy mid and you throw 4 ghouls and they don't have any AD either, they're not going to be able to kill those Mistwalkers with 2 attacks. It'll be 4 or 5 attacks. So that's actually quite clutch. That's really, really nice. And it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. So you'll see Mistwalkers still take reduced damage from jungle monsters. So that's still in the game. Perfect for jungle Yorick. It's actually gone down to 40%, which is perfect. You can see there's one that says chasing attack range percent has gone up from 0 to 50%. When Mistwalkers go to attack something that's moving, for some reason, sometimes they just stop attacking and they stop being able to keep their attack speed going despite them having the same movement speed. So a perfect example right here on Scuttle. Mistwalkers have 385 movement speed. This Scuttle has 155. That's going to go up to 255 when it goes into combat. So just watch my Mistwalkers attacks when I do this. So again, you can see 161, and then watch their attacks. You would never guess that the Scuttle was slower than them. But for some reason, they just never attack the Scuttle when they chase it. You would have thought they would have attacked it 4 times in that entire time frame. But the Scuttle is still alive. I don't actually know if this change has actually been enacted yet, because I don't see any difference. But I'll make a follow-up with Riot for that one and see if that's actually the intended, what it's supposed to look like. Lastly, the other thing it doesn't indicate here is Mistwalkers actually scale off Yorick's attack speed now. So rather than having their own attack speed scaling, instead, they basically mirror what Yorick's one is. So you can see right now it says Yorick has, the Mistwalker has 34.9% bonus attack speed. Yorick has 34.9% bonus attack speed. So if I go back to base and I go back and buy as many attack speed items as I can find in the shop. Let's just stack them all. You can see I have 1.5 attack speed, and the Mistwalkers also have 1.2. Now, don't get me wrong, and don't misjudge this. This is a nerf and a half. This is not a buff at all. This is one of the biggest nerfs you'll get on Yorick Jungle and Yorick Top at all. If you're building attack speed like Trinity Force or Strikebreaker, the nerf is mitigated, but you shouldn't go out of your way to build attack speed because it's not going to work. That being said, there is a little niche scenario right here, and a lot of people have probably picked up on it already. It's Hail Blades, because Hail Blades gives you 140% attack speed as soon as you attack. Mistwalkers, you can see, have 1.2. If I attack this thing, you can see it goes up. As soon as I proc that Hail Blades, the Mistwalkers start going in a frenzy. Once it expires, though, the Mistwalkers stop attacking as quickly as they did before. So this is actually really nice, because if I go in for an all-in, auto, Q, auto, Mistwalkers are attacking at an increased pace for that entire duration. And let's say, for example, I get in auto Q and then the target flashes away. If my Mistwalkers jump on after him, they're still attacking at that increased rate. So it only expires once the Hail Blades expires. So that's really, really nice. I wouldn't suggest you invest into items like Wit's End, Static Shiv, Ginsu's. I just don't think it's worthwhile. The numbers were something like you need 110% bonus attack speed at level 18 to compensate for what Mistwalkers would have normally had last patch. So in reality, unless you're running Hail Blades, don't waste your time. But that being said, Hail Blades just became extremely spicy. Now, the biggest change of this entire rework revolves around Yorick Q. So Yorick Q has been changed. The cooldown for 1 used to be 7 seconds at level 1, and now it's 6. So we lost 1 second up front, but the end stage cooldown of max rank is still 4 seconds. So really nice buff to top Yorick. Great buff to jungle Yorick, because we can Q faster now, and a lot of our jungle clears were gated around our Q cooldown. But now that's even more so, because there's a new change. If the attack hits a champion or large monster, it leaves a grave automatically. So if I put a dummy here and I Q the dummy, it's going to leave a grave straight on the floor. Similar, if I attack the wolf, you can see it leaves a grave. And I only need to attack the big wolf 3 times now to leave a grave, rather than focus each of the individual small wolves, which is really nice. Now you pair this for jungle Yorick with the attack speed buff, it means now I can actually raise ghouls to level 1 instead. Because previously, if I raised ghouls to level 1, they didn't get the attack speed of level 2 ghouls when I ranked up to level 2. It wasn't dynamically updated like their AD or HP was. So this is a great buff to jungle Yorick. You should be raising your ghouls ASAP when you're clearing your jungle. I should also point out that the Q damage ratio has actually gone up by 10% as well. Now, Yorick E actually got quite a few changes. You can see we've actually lost our percent health damage, which is a little annoying. Instead, we get flat damage, so that's okay. We have an increased AP ratio, so it's gone up to 100% instead of 70%. So Leandra's is looking really good now. We lost the 20% damage amplification for our ghoul's first 8 attacks, and instead we traded it for armor reduction, and that's a percentage at 30%. So we basically have an inbuilt black cleaver on our E now. Since it's armor reduction, our team is actually affected. So if you have an AD carry and you hit someone with E, your AD carry is going to be dealing a lot more damage to that target. But it's still a net damage nerf if it's just Yorick attacking the target, because 20% of damage increase on your ghoul attacks is likely to be more damage dealt than reducing the armor by 30%. Now, there's an exception to this for jungle though, because jungle has a habit of throwing more than 4 ghouls at camps. There's a very strong chance that in your jungle clear, you'll be able to throw 8 ghouls on a camp and they'll attack 12 times. And 12 of those attacks will be when the camp has reduced armor. So for example, you can see right here, I have 3 graves on the floor right here and I have 4 ghouls right there. The red buff is there. I can throw my E and run the other direction. I'm going to throw 7 ghouls in this point up, and you can see it attacked 12 times, or at least 11 times, while the red was still having its armor reduced. So you can see the Maiden Mist actually got some changes too. So she actually has base AD now, so 60, 90, or 120 based off your rank. She actually has a bonus AD scaling instead of a total AD scaling, and that's nice. I think Freak went over it in his video. It's a nice way of being able to tweak Yorick's numbers without affecting the Maiden's numbers. So I really like that change. I think it's really good. It means we can add base AD to Yorick in the future if he needs buffs, or they can take it away if it needs nerfs, and it won't affect the Maiden or the Mistwalkers because that's how they're scaling as well. You can see that she has bonus HP scaling, and that's the exact same rationale. The only difference, though, is you can see she has a mark damage ratio of 1.57, 1.75, and 2. That's actually 2, 2.5, and 3 on live, so I'm not sure if this is Swift Play accidentally leaking into the PBE tool. But we'll see how it goes. I'm pretty sure this isn't going to go live, but I'll let you know if anything changes. Now, there's quite a few bug fixes in this patch, which is really, really good because Jungle Yorick could always use some bug fixes. Now, the biggest one so far is ghouls will no longer recall with you in the jungle. Right now, if ghouls are in a lane, they will push the lane and they won't recall with Yorick. Jungle, for some reason, they always recalled with him. Now, there's a little bit of indication here. So you can E and you can recall. And now, as long as they're in combat with the jungle monster, they will not recall. Your Maiden will, though. So keep an eye on this. You're going to see Maiden's going to recall. Now, as a consequence of this change, it's actually affected the super speed effect. So if you don't know already, if the Mistwalkers are really far away from Yorick, as soon as they exit combat, they'll run to you. Now, Freak went over it. In the process of actually coding this, he put a 3-second timer to check, see if they're in combat. So it's going to take them 3 seconds before they realize, hey, Yorick's not here. Let's fucking leg it back to him. So it's a little bit of a consequence of that, but I would much rather be able to take the Gromp by Eing and recalling on the spot right here than having to walk all the way over here and losing this travel time. So the other bug fix that they did is they made it so that your E is going to actually count towards your Black Cleaver stacks. So if I throw 4 ghouls, it should actually shred 4 stacks of your Black Cleaver when you throw them with your E. So you can see I'm going to throw E, 4 ghouls are going to jump, and it's going to stack once because it's still bugged on PBE. But Freak said this will be fixed, so I will trust him on that. This should get fixed. For some reason, it's just if the ghouls all attack at once, it just counted as 1 stack, and I have no idea why. But fun fact, it actually amounts to 51% armor reduction if you pair your Black Cleaver with max rank E. So if they have 200 armor, you're only going to be having 100 armor opponents with your E. So it makes lethality really, really nice because you can get upwards of 70 lethality, and if you go a Cleaver, you can shred a lot of the armor away before that starts benefiting it. And the last bug fix they did is the bloody wall bug. I don't know why this took so friggin' long, but I'm so glad that it's here. Normally, if you E the Krug camp, the ghouls would fall short. Similar to Flash, if I tried to flash this wall and I tried to flash over here from here, it's gonna screw me over to the left side because I can't make the distance. It's the exact same way that your E used to work. So I used to chuck my ghouls and they would all fall short. But you can see now they jump the whole wall, whereas before they would have actually fallen short here. All right, guys, the end of the video. So before we leave, I'm going to give you my view and thoughts on the rework in general. To be honest, I like it a lot. I think pushing Yorick to be more early game is a good change. It's something that I'm really unfamiliar with because majority of my games, if you've ever seen my YouTube content, is pretty much a 30-minute comeback. I never ever win the early game. And that's because Yorick jungle doesn't win early game, and Yorick is not supposed to win levels 1 to 6. That has always been his weak spot. And we've been compensated by that by having a stronger mid game, where at level 6 to 13, you can pop off as soon as you hit that level 6, you can just power through both in top and in jungle. They're shifting a lot of power into that early game now. So you should be winning lane now. You should be able to trade in matchups you can't normally trade. And in jungle, you should be able to invade in matchups you can't invade. So net positive all around. Remember, you're always guaranteed an early game, but you're never guaranteed a mid game, and you're never guaranteed a late game. So early game changes, I'm more than welcome for. The problem I can only see with these changes is that it definitely pushes quite a lot of the damage out of your mid and late into your early. So your ghouls do so much less damage in the late game, and your Maiden does so much less damage in the late game. Your Maiden split is inevitably, it's weaker as a result, so that win con is not really there. At least the ability to actually drag someone bot is still there by your Maiden split, but she's probably not going to be killing anyone anytime soon in the split push. And I don't know how I feel about items like Leandries. I don't know if they actually have a place anymore, just because their base damage on the ghouls and Maiden isn't that high anymore, so I don't see it really doing that much in terms of split pushing. But at the end of the day, like I said, I think it's a net positive. Maybe later on we can have ghouls damage added back a little bit. The only conflicting thing I have about it is that it just seems a bit backwards. From the way Freak was talking about it, he wants to put Yorick's team fighting better, but at the same time, he's then nerfed his ability to team fight by reducing his ghoul damage. So I don't know. I can foresee a lot of bruiser builds coming out. I don't think lethality is going to be as strong, but I can definitely see lethality, especially paired with Yorick's E. You don't need Black Cleaver anymore. Your E is the armor shred. You can just go straight for Cyrilda's Grudge and just plow through squishies. So I think lethality should be okay. I think bruiser will probably be better. And then stay tuned because I think Tank Yorick might actually be a pretty legit playstyle. We did some testing in my Discord channel last night. If you haven't already, join my Discord. There's a link in the description down below. And some of us were looking at how Tank Yorick fares up against things like Jax and Tryndamere, and you'd be amazed how well Tank Yorick can actually deal against these champions right now. So I'm excited to try him out. I'll probably go live at some point throughout the week, and there's going to be YouTube content going wild. So thanks for watching, boys. I appreciate you all coming around, and I'll update you if there's any changes. Understand this, there is definitely going to be some changes. It will not hit live the way it is. It will change. So when something changes, I'll let you know as soon as I can. Otherwise, join my Discord, hit that like button, hit that sub button, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you all later.